Let me tell you a true story. Remember when I went to Dallas and I met TD Jakes? And it's very interesting because after church, they bring us into this room. Here's TD Jakes standing. He stands and like 20 people stand with him on this long table from here to here. And they're all standing to receive us. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Who, me? Yes, you. It couldn't be then. Who? Right? So I walk in there, my heart's beating. But you know, you got to play. You know your pastor, I will not fall your hand. You know, I used to get paid to act. So my house doing... I was like, oh, nice to me. I said, Jesus, help me. Don't fall your guy. Do not put me to shame. And they sit us down. I'm sitting right opposite TD Jakes. He has the head of this corporation, the head of that, the head of this. Everybody's there. Everybody's going around the table telling us what they do. And then he strikes a conversation about being connected to the diaspora and how he feels so connected when it comes back to his roots in Africa, and how he felt so connected in Nigeria, and how there's such a disconnect between the African Americans and Nigerians, and how we have to bridge the gap. And he's saying all of this, and I'm listening, and all of a sudden he stops talking as to say, over to you. What do you have to say? And I said, thank you very much. I said, you know, you're absolutely right. You see, the problem that I feel that we have in the African American society and the impact of slavery is that they've been disconnected from their heritage, and what transatlantic slavery took from them was stripping them of their roots and their identity. So when they say I am not African, they do not know that it's the effect of slavery speaking, and they're disconnected from their culture. He says, He says, okay. He says, tell me more. And I continue talking. He says, ooh, this is good. This is good. We need to talk about this on a podcast. And I said, thank you, Jesus, that I am red. Because you see, in that moment, when he passed the ball, if I had nothing to say, that's it. You better be prepared when God opens the door. Because you don't know when that door is going to open. So when it opens, you better be ready.
That being said, let's clarify this. Not all black people in America came on ships. Not all black people in America came on ships. Before you all start jumping on podcasts in 2026 to say shit, better make your own research. Bishop T.D. Jakes might have made his own research based off on the fact that probably his ancestors had told him that, see, we are from Africa. Even before he did the whole DNA or whatever, right? Now, there are people in America who can trace back to their 7th, 8th generation, and they can tell you that those people were natives. And so that is why I will not still believe that every black person you find in America came on ships. Not all of them were slaves. And that is just the truth. Anyways, watch this remaining videos, then I'll be back.
So now all of a sudden, black people didn't come over on ships. All of a sudden, we didn't come over on ships. The agents are now spewing this narrative and injecting false doctrine in us to try to disassociate and remove us from the prophecy of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, verse 68 of the Most High sending us over here on ships. Because according to them, we didn't come on ships because we were already here. Now here's what the devil does. He gives you half-truths mixed with lies. We came on ships and we were already here. The tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi predominantly came on ships. The tribe of Gad and Issachar were in the Americas. So yes, it was both. We came on ships and we were already here. But they're trying to make it seem like we never came on ships because we were already here. And the agents, they insert these doctrines and they insert these lies, and some of our people are run with it. And now they're like, oh, hey, we never came on ships, but not understanding that they're only doing that to try to remove you from that prophecy, because that's one of the singular biggest prophecies of us knowing who we are, is us coming on them ships. See, the serpent is cunning. The serpent is very cunning. And if you're not careful, you'll just fall for it. This is why you got to stand on a foundation. You got to stand on the core, because somebody will get in your ear from something that they heard or read or somewhere. And if you don't have a core, if you don't have a foundation, you'll believe it. And then they'll drag you over there into a whole nother belief or ideology. And before you know it, you going outside talking about those rocks of the Most High. Right? So you got to be super careful with that, man. Yeah, the serpent is cunning, right? The only reason why they got their agents, just like how they sent agents with, other false doctrines that they imprinted into this awakening, right? They're doing the same thing. I mean, to me, it's easy to spot. It's clear as day, but knowledge puffets up, and unfortunately, some of our people get ahead of themselves. But don't fall for this. Now, all of a sudden, black people never came on ships because we already here. Y'all gotta stop falling for just any and everything that you guys hear. To answer your question, we came on ships, and we also was in the Americas. America is the oldest landmass. So yes, our people was here, right? They'll give you that while simultaneously trying to remove you from the prophecy of us coming on ships, right? Come on. You got to have wisdom and discernment in these last times, in these last days. And I mean, you got to test the spirit. Don't just fall for everything you hear. Shalom.
Most of the black people here in America did not come over here on slave ships. Let's break down the math. Now, according to Google, roughly 12.5 million slaves were transported here from Africa. Also, according to Google, this took over 360 something years. So when you take 12.5 million slaves and you divide that by 366, you get over 30,000 slaves a year. Now, in order to do this, you would need at least 11 ships going there and back, because each trip at least took 3 weeks there and 3 weeks back, depending on where you were going. I know this doesn't include shipwrecks. It doesn't include if people got sick and died at sea. We're just trying to get a general idea of how this could be possible. Even if I'm completely wrong, let's just think hypothetically. So if you used 11 ships for 360 years, you should have some evidence of these ships, right?
So I'm supposed to believe that they took thousands of Africans and brought them to America on these boats. I got a question, and I was wondering if someone can answer this for me. If America is based on capitalism, why didn't those that run this country take the opportunity to make billions off the slave ships? What would be one of the biggest tourist attractions in America? The slave ships. Think about it. Everybody would pay to see how in the hell they got all these rowdy ass Africans on these boats and brought them over here. But you telling me the people that run this country, who love money, never took the advantage of that $1 billion opportunity. You got all these statues and old ass houses of so-called plantations, but not one slave ship. Not one. And then think about this. Why are black Americans the only people in this world without a country to back them? The only people in this world whose history got a little mystery. Why is America the only country in this world that's a corporation and not a country? Why does every other country have wars on their land but America? Because everyone knows this is the sacred land and they created Israel. Everybody know who this land truly belongs to, which is why they can never pay us reparations. It would bankrupt the country. That's why black Americans are the only people who were stripped of their true identity, because that had to be done in order to not only take the land, but be able to keep it. The fact that they never took the opportunity to make billions off of having just one slave ship, with the way they love money, let me know we was already here. But you want me to believe this.
Believe that Africans were brought over on slave ships? Correct. I believe it may have happened. Maybe people were brought over as slaves, but I don't think that black people in America came from Africa on slave ships. I believe the people that were here were slowly conquered. First, they got the East Coast, and then they started spreading out west, little by little, conquering. And when you conquer a tribe, what do? You enslave them. They're POWs. That's what you do. So after you conquer this tribe, make them slaves. Now, how do you conquer the natives here? So let's say you got this tribe is warring against this tribe. Well, this tribe goes talk to the white man. White man says, yo, if you help me wipe out these people, then boom, I'll help you with whatever. So they get together and they wipe out this other tribe. Now, guess what? The white man now outnumbers this tribe. So he wipes them out. Just kill two birds with one stone. You just keep moving like that.
Number one, when you think deeply about shallow shit, you drown in your own understanding. Number two, you just saw an illustration of the real Indians pipeline in 4K. Number three, Buddy really said a whole bunch of nothing and made no empirical points, especially situated around history. Number four, acknowledging that settlers went from the East Coast to the West Coast and trying to colonize indigenous folks is not a negation of enslaved people coming on boats. Number five, the fact that we can acknowledge there were some indigenous tribes implicated in the African slave trade, I believe that dispels his whole theory, right?
So there's an underground railroad for black people in 2025. And the thing is, it's not underground this time. It's actually on TikTok. Welcome to the cookout. You see, our people are now claiming our indigenous status. Look at our brother here. Tax exemption ID. Government ID of the Shi'amaru Republic. This is really happening. We got another beloved sister here who received her tribal screening back. Positive, indigenous to the Americas. And even myself, I was able to get my screening done. Positive to the Americas. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know how I did this, all I need you to do is share this video, repost it, like, and comment. That's all I need from you, okay? And I'll show you guys how to correct your status back to indigenous American. I love you. Swear to God on my mama. Let's do it. Alright, so when correcting your status, we're not talking about the usual runaround you get where you're paying people and they're sending you templates and you gotta mail all of it. No, alright? What we're doing is we're taking a tribal screening through the Aboriginal Ministry of Justice. These are the requirements you will need to pass that tribal screening. You must currently domicile within the United States, born within America, North, Central, or South, parents or grandparents born within America, directly or indirectly experienced genocide, which for us, slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights, directly or indirectly experienced denationalization. Now this right here is when they strip you of your nation. They call you black, Negro, Cherokee, mulatto, all type of different names, okay? So the cost of this is $75 for adults, $50 for kids, okay? So obviously I got the adult one, 5 to 10 business days. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, you can book a consultation with me in the link in my bio, or if you click the link in my bio, it'll take you directly to this tribal screening page. And I believe we still have about 10 slots open, where if you use the code YASUN, all caps, you get 50% off. So, hey, that's pretty cool as well, okay? Hopefully this information is awesome to you. Tag somebody, send it to somebody. Let our people know that we are rising, we are building, all right? Welcome to the cookout.
I was today years old when I found out that some people believe that the transatlantic slave trade was a hoax. Like, there's people out there that think that it was impossible to sail across the Atlantic. I'm literally putting this here because I can't believe, like, my own eyes couldn't believe it at first. Some people think that there were indigenous black people in the Americas. Children were left behind. The schools need to be reopened. Also, whenever you think there's a huge conspiracy, I feel like your first question should be why? For what purpose? Like, if this would be the most elaborate conspiracy, to what end? There has to be like an obvious answer. And if there isn't, then I feel like your conspiracy is wrong. I'm sorry.
Random thoughts as guaranteed. You know, they have this idea that black people were brought here on slave ships, right? But in South America, black people are recognized for being natives to this land for at least 10,000 years. So why are we recognized for being natives to this land for 10,000 years if we weren't already on this land? If we had to be brought here by Europeans, then why do the natives of this land recognize us as natives of the land for thousands of years? Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, another question. If you look at the population of the world, which country has the largest population of black people outside of Africa? Brazil. Brazil. There's more black people in Brazil than there is in North America. But we got here on slave ships. Wait, Christopher Columbus got here and he notated in his personal journal that the people that were ruling the land here were melanated black people. And then they commenced to killing us and cooking us, deep frying us like chicken and eating us as a delicacy. What? But we got here on slave ships. Have you ever seen a people go to war with a country, right? Conquer that country and then not enslave the people of that country? The POWs? Nah, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna conquer a new continent of people. And then they're gonna outsource across the ocean to other continents to bring slaves in to work the land. No, you conquer the land, you conquer the people, and then you enslave the people. That's what's always been done throughout history. But in America, apparently that's not what happened. They conquered the people, gave them smallpox blankets and whatnot. Thanks for giving us that, right? And then they outsourced and brought people across the fucking ocean to this land. That doesn't make any fucking sense. When we know in the beginning of the Mali Empire, Mansa Musa's brother took 1,000 ships to America. He was the original ruler. He handed the kingdom to Mansa Musa and left to the Americas and never came back. Then when you go and you look in between Central America, northern South America, and the southern tip of North America, the oldest artifacts found there are gold and copper arrowheads. 95% gold, 5% copper, which is Mali royalty. But the black people here, they weren't smart enough to build ships to cross the ocean before Europeans, even though the Moors went to Europe and saved Europeans from themselves because their living was so dirty and disgusting. They were all dying from the Black Plague. And they didn't learn how to bathe or cultivate soap or create fucking running water in their own buildings until Moors got there. And this is all historically fact. Look it up. If you don't believe me, I implore you to look it up. But the same people that were smart enough to save you from your own disgusting filth weren't smart enough to build ships. So if they weren't smart enough to build ships to get to North America, how the fuck did they build ships to get to Europe to save you from yourself? Make that make sense. Get the fuck out of here with that.
So many people are unaware of the fact that during slavery, before the Civil War, that not all black people were slaves. And you see that depicted in so many comments and so much commentary when people talk about we are descendants of slaves. And it's like, no, we are not everybody. A significant amount of people were not slaves. They were free black folk. About 500,000, about 500,000. I think the number was like 480 something thousand. And it's true that there was a portion of that who were mixed, or as my grandmother would put it, our family was mulatto. People don't like that term today, but that is a term that they used at that time. They were free black folk who looked black, not black folks that could pass. Also, the vast majority of those people were encompassed in the South, despite what you're often told is that they would go to the North. Actually, the vast majority of those 500,000 were in the antebellum South.
I learned that there were approximately 12,000 ships that brought 12.5 million Africans to the Americas. So you got 12,000 ships. What I realized was that I could not tell you the name of a single one of those ships growing up, but I could tell you about the Mayflower, I could tell you about the Titanic, I could tell you about all these other ships that were considered important, but I couldn't name one of those.
One of 12,000.
That didn't feel right to me. So that's the first stat. The second one, and this is the one that sits heaviest on my heart, I learned that there were 1.8 million Africans who died just in the crossing from Africa to the Americas. We're not talking about the number of people who died once they arrived and were enslaved. Just in the transition. I didn't know it was 1.8 million people. That's a lot of people. Yeah. I was like, where the memorial? Who's honoring that enormous loss of life? I was like, there are chapters of history that are just missing. So this work felt really important to me.
Let me clear this up. I've been watching some TikTok videos about Black Americans going around claiming that they're the real Native Americans and that the real Native Americans are fake and that they stole our culture. Now you guys, y'all know damn well that is not true. Yes, some of us have Native ancestry. Yes, some Native Americans did enslave Africans. And yes, we all know that history is messy as hell. But we know for sure that this is not true. There's no proof. There's no language. There's no documents. There's no DNA that proves that we were here first. You guys are actually going around erasing Native American culture. Why? To feel rooted in your own? Going around erasing someone else's identity to feel good about our own is not cool. That kind of happened to us. Black people, you guys are beautiful. We are mixed people. We are African. We're European. Some of us have native blood. We are a beautiful mix. There's no need for us to go around trying to erase someone else's identity just to feel good about our own. Know that you are loved, whether you're dark skinned, you're light skinned, whatever you may be. We've been through hella shit. We have. But don't go around here treating other people the same way we got treated. You're loved. Accept that. Be proud of who you are.
If you're a Black person and you watch that video of the Maori woman do what clearly is a protest, I don't know what she said, but she tore that paper up for real. I want to share with you why I think we tear up when we hear Haka, when we see Haka. I think the Maori people still have direct connection to the power of their people in the way that our ancestors intend for us to have. I'm going to play the clip at the end, but I want you to pay attention. When that first woman gets up and she tears the paper, immediately the woman in front of her is activated. You can see the look on her face change immediately. Then you're going to see the woman who's next to her, who's a bit older, is beaming proud at watching her people, the younger generation, stand up for something. Again, I don't know what language they speak, or rather, I don't understand the language. This is my interpretation. Third, immediately community. People get up and join her immediately. They don't ask no questions. They're not taking notes. They're not asking permission. They're not arguing about a woman leading. This what we doing? Bet. Lastly, what you will hopefully also notice is there are quite a few people that are in the chambers that are not Maori that stand up on their feet out of a show for respect. There's just so much to learn in that one clip. So much to appreciate. I think the Maori people remind me that they didn't get us all. They didn't get us all. Y'all tell me what you think.
If 6 votes opposed.
Welcome back. You've watched those videos, right? I know you have a lot of things to say, but then reserve it until you get to the comments. Watch this video till the end. Now, it's okay that, a lot of people have read so many things from the history books, and, you have a whole lot of things to say. But then the truth is, some people know their truth. Yeah, we know that a lot of things when it comes to the black people's history in America have been erased, right? But then some people are still alive. We have people who were here when the whole segregation, Jim Crow. Okay, I'm not sure about Jim Crow, but I can talk about, segregation. A whole lot of people can tell you, oh, they were here when it was happening, and to a lot extent, they can tell you about their own ancestry. So now you go make your findings from those people, and then you find out that a whole lot of them will tell you they're not Africans. They are indigenous people. They are natives. Some people will tell you, oh, we are Indians. They knew where they're from. So do not mistake every black person you see in America to come from Africa. Yes, some came from Africa. But then the people who were sold, right, we haven't just sold only to America. Some are in, Jamaica. We have some of them in UK. We have a lot of them everywhere, scattered abroad. So then find out. This is all I have to say. Not everybody you see is African. Not every black person you see in America has their own origin from Africa. Some of them have gone to do their DNA several times, and they found out that they have no business with Africa. What do you say about that? Anyway, let me hear your thoughts in the comment. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share this video, and always come back for more. Right, keep enjoying 2026. It's your girl Blessing on Global Just with BJ. I love you. Bye guys.